Hi, I'm Callum from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and today I'll be doing a short demonstration on the Malibu Charmin 640 LE. On the passenger side you've got your gas low, so this is where you'd fill up from. So you put your bayonet fitting on there, turn the front of the gun and pull the lever and press the button on the fuel filler display on the petrol pump until it stops, and then that's when you know that your gas low is full. You've got your vent for your Truma heating, which you don't need to do anything with, it will just let the fumes out. This is where you hook the vehicle up, so you'd lift the collar on the hooker blade and slide it on, and that'll give you 230 volts inside the vehicle. Your toilet's in here. This is where your cassette is. Get your cassette out. You have to make sure your toilet is turned inside.
This big screw, yeah.
Like so, and then you lift the lever and slide the cassette out the vehicle. The slide must be shut on the bottom of the toilet bowl to get the cassette out. Once it's out, you've got some wheels to drag it along the floor when full and empty. Take the grey cap off, press the orange button which puts air and stops it glugging, tip it out the waste disposal point, which is normally beside or behind the toilet block. Then if you are using a liquid, cap full of liquid in, you'd normally give it a rinse once you have emptied it, then put your liquid in. But if you are using the tablets, a pint of water into the cassette and then just drop a tablet straight down the toilet and it'll break up to the liquid. You've got your fuel here, which is your fuel and your AdBlue. So your AdBlue is a 20 litre tank. It'll indicate on the dash when it needs it. When it needs it, just give it put it in, because it'll give you a mileage countdown until simply the engine won't start. So once the light comes on, just top it up. It's the best way, and then your fuel opens with your main ignition key. You've got your tyre pressures on here, so 5.5 bar front and back, which is 79.5 psi. Then underneath your seat is your charger. So these are all your fuses for your 12 volt side, so it'll be a good idea to go and buy some spare blade fuses. Engine batteries underneath the floor, so you ever have to change it, you can take your engine battery out there, but your bonnet release is here and underneath your bonnet. You've got your weight plate, your paint code, your brake fluid, your power steering, your brake fluid, your radiator fluid, and your screen wash, which is the main one you're going to want. This cover does lift off, and you've got your power steering fluid underneath there as well. You've got your oil filler and dipstick, your paint code for the black, your earth for a charger or a jump start, and your positives here. So put the key in there, lift it up, and you can put your positive jump lead on there to give or receive a jump start. On the driver's side, so you've got your sliding cargo door with this fly screen. You've got your step switch here and all your light switches and your bin. Coming back from the door, under here you've got a lever. So here you've got a lever, so if you just push that lever down, it opens the waste underneath. So normally you would open this over a grate and drain your wastewater off. So always drain your waste off before you travel, as you don't want to be traveling around with the excess weight. And then in here, your wasser is your fresh water. Opens with your key, so you can lock or unlock. Hose pipe in there, so it would be a good idea to go and buy a hose pipe and some hose fittings. Carry hose, put a hose pipe in there until it overflows, then you've got a full tank, what we can see on board what water you're carrying. If you are going wild camping and off grid, you will have to take a full tank of water with you, but if you are going on site, take a maximum of 20 litres. It gives you the chance to stop off, use the toilet or have a cup of tea. And then coming around the back, your bike rack, which I've already been through, and you've got your rear parking sensors. Once on board the vehicle, if you lift the acrylic cover up above the habitation door, which will reveal your control panel and your Truma heating control panel. So this here is indicating that we are hooked up. We are on 230 mains. Your hookup lead is in the side of the vehicle, and to turn it on, you turn on there until you get the green light. If this wasn't on, you'd just be on 12 volt. As this is on, you will have household power on board, so 230 volts to power a kettle, a hairdryer and your other bits and pieces. Above you've got your a music symbol. This is to power the head unit in the cab, so when you are parked up and you want to listen to the radio, instead of having the ignition on, you can have that on and it'll power the head unit in the dash. And then this side at the top, you've got your leisure battery reading. So that's the vehicle, that is the battery that the motorhome side of the vehicle will use. Below you've got your fresh water reading, so it's saying we've got 75% of fresh water on board and 25 of waste, which is below the fresh. And then the one of the vehicle battery at the front is your Peugeot battery, which is saying it's 12.12 volts, as it's a brand new vehicle, and that'll go up once you start putting some miles on the vehicle. And next to it you've got your Truma heating system. So to wake this up, press and hold until you get this screen, and then you can press the button, go into it. So the van with the thermometer in is the temperature of the van, so you can have 30 degrees max all the way down to off. So for this we'll say 20. Once you're happy with 20, just press the wheel once. That's preset your temperature to 20 degrees. Going further along, you've got the temperature in the water, which is the hot water, so you've got it on off. So if you've got no water on board, don't put the water on. You've got off. You've got eco, which will save a little bit of electricity or whatever source you're using. It will use a less powered source. You've got hot, or you've got boost. Boost prioritizes the water to the heating, so should you want to do your dishes or have a shower quicker, put it on boost and it'll heat the water up to temperature far quicker than it would if you had heating and hot water on together. So for this we'll just say hot, and then going along you've got a gas bottle and electricity marks there. This is the temperature. No, sorry, this is your source, the energy source you are using off. So this one here, so you've either got gas on its own, so if you're wild camping it and you weren't hooked up, you'd have to heat your water and vehicle off gas. You've got a mixture of 1 kilowatt in gas. Got a mixture of 2 kilowatt in gas. You'd use this more if you were hooked up in the winter and it was cold. You'd put mix 2 on and it'd heat the water or the van up far quicker, and then you would turn it over to electric. You've got electric on 1 kilowatt, which you would use on a smaller CL site or abroad, but in this country, if you've paid your site fees and you don't mind waiting for the van or water to heat up, you just put it on to electric 2, and that would heat your van up and water up within about 25 minutes. Going along you've got the fan, so you've got eco or high. So if you are wild camping, you put on eco because this uses a 12 volt fan, which obviously is using power from your leisure battery, and obviously you're not hooked up, so you don't want to drain it on having a fan. Or you've got high, which you can use when hooked up, and it'll blow the air around the vehicle. You've got your timer here, which you can time the heating to go on and off just once. So if you were getting up at 8 o'clock, you might want the heating to come on at 7 just to get the van nice and warm before you're getting up. Here you've got the clock, so this is the time displayed on the front clock, which is a screen. And if you do get a warning triangle in the middle, if you go down to reset, press and hold, you can reset the control panel and boiler to see if the heating will work should it have failed. To operate your Dometic fridge, if you turn on here, you've then got 3 settings. So you've got the plug, which is mains electric, so when you're hooked up you would just put it onto mains power. You wouldn't want to use your gas, so you just click onto the plug and that would give you 230 voltage to your fridge. Coming along, you've got gas on its own, so you'll hear it trying to ignite there. And what the gas is, if you are wild camping or you weren't hooked up, you could put on gas to cool your fridge. Going along, you've got battery. It's failed there because this only works when the engine is running, so this just sends a feed to the engine, from the engine to the fridge, to keep the temperature the same. So the idea here is to pre-cool your fridge on either mains electric if you're parked outside your house, or if you are in a storage yard and you've got electric, then great. If not, you'd have to use your gas to pre-cool your fridge. Put your shopping in, and then preferably the night before, and then you can go off with your shopping on board and it'll stay nice and cool when you put on a battery. But you have got A, which means the fridge is automatic, so it'll do its own thing. So if I was to take the hookup out now, it would go over to gas. If I was then to start the engine, it would go over to 12 volt, so it means you don't have to change the settings. But it is programmed, the automatic, to wait 20 minutes before lighting on gas, because if you pull into a petrol station, it's the last thing you want is your fridge trying to ignite on gas and causing a spark and potentially blowing up the petrol station. Here you've got your temperature, so 1 bar being the warmest all the way to 5 being the coldest. You've got a little catch on here, so you can press this in. This is your travel catch, and then to open it, just push the green button. You can then open your fridge, and you've got a removable freezer box in there with the clips underneath should you need the extra space. Now in your bathroom, so this is your toilet, slides away to give you more shower space. So if you push the catch down, it slides your toilet out. So you push this down on the floor and turn this, the toilet will come out. And to operate the toilet, make sure the pump's on. You press the button and it'll flush. And then once it's flushed, to deposit into the cassette, you've got the slide door on the side there. So if you move that, it will then open the slide and deposit it into the cassette. This must be shut to get the cassette out the exterior of the vehicle. And then you'll get an indication with a red wheel on here when this is full and requires to be emptied. To remove this step section, you've got 2 screws here which screw in here, so both of these need to be loosened off and taken out, as you don't want the end of the bolt to scratch the wood. So loosen them off, take them out, and then if you just pull and lift, you can lift this out. So should you have any bigger items like bikes or an air awning or anything, or you might be taking the van to IKEA to do your pick some furniture up, you can get a larger item through the van. So lift the bed up, remove your mattresses, and then lift up like so. And then you've got the bars here, so like I was saying about your through loading, if you lift the floors up, because you've got a false floor here for loading things underneath and above. But if you were loading things and you wanted this step section out like I've just shown you, you'll also need to remove these bars. These bars must be in when you're sleeping, as it gives a bit of weight and stability across the wood, so that the boards have something to push down on. So remove them like so, and you can remove the back, and then you will have your through loading for your bikes if you are putting a bigger item through the galleyway. So lift the floor, you grab the front section first, and you can lift it up like so, and then you can lift the back section up, and there you've got more height on the floor should you want your bigger items in. And you do have tethering rails, so whether it's an air awning or a bike, you can strap it down to the floor when you're in transit. To operate your lights in the back, towards the back doors, you've got 2 little rocker switches that turn these lights on, and you have a USB, and then the others are on that switch just there. So on your back windows you've got your blackout blinds and your fly screens, and then you've got this pad in here which is for when you're sleeping. If you just put it in at an angle and slide it into the door like so, and then the blackout blind and fly screen will just hit at the top. If you want to make your doors open wider, so this 90 degrees, your barn doors, just press these buttons on both sides and push back. There is a stopper here which stops it hitting your lights. This is your bike rack on the back, so it's normally folded up like so. Pull it down, put your wheels on the tracks and strap through the spokes, and then you do have these that go through your crossbars, so that being the first bike and this longer one being the second, through the crossbars. And then if you want any additional strapping, you can just strap the bikes together, but that's entirely up to yourselves. In the rear, underneath your bed on the passenger side, behind this cupboard door here, you have your boiler, and your boiler will hold 10 litres of water at any one time. And in the winter it's crucial you get the water out, and you don't want the water to freeze. So this here is your automatic frost drain for the boiler, and once the temperature reaches 3 degrees this will automatically open and drain off the water. But it is important that you check, and if not do it yourself before it reaches 3 degrees. If it is going to be a cold night, or if the van is at home, you can drain it off well before when you've stopped using it. You can drain it off well before it has to drain itself off. And to do so, just turn this, the button at the bottom pops out and the water will drain directly underneath the chassis. And when coming back to use it, put the valve across the van and push the button at the bottom back in, and then this will hold water again. You've also got your hot water drain tap there as well, so this lets all the water that's in the pipes out as well, directly underneath the chassis. Above your boiler, in your passenger side rear bed, if you lift the top of the bed up, you've got your RCD unit. So here you've got your circuit breakers when on 230 volt when you're hooked up. So should your kettle or your hairdryer blow the fuse, you can check here before you check your main site RCD. Now in the cab, I'll go through your cab controls. So to the right of the driver you have your handbrake, which is down here. You have your electric mirrors at the front and windows here. So this does the top and the blind spot. You've got, if you pinch your clips here, you've got your blinds, and the same on the windscreen. So the other side will clip like so, and they're magnetic. So they just clip together magnetically, and you've got the same on that window. Coming down here, you've got your headlight adjustment. So this adjusts the headlights. You've got your rear fogs, and you've got your, this has got start stop on it, with it being a Euro 6D. So as soon as you put your foot on the brake, with it being an automatic, so if you sat at traffic lights or in a queue, as soon as you put your foot on the brake, it'll cut the engine until you lift your foot off the brake, and then it will start moving again. But if you wanted to stop the engine from cutting out, so when you had your foot on the brake the engine would be running all the time, just press this and this turns your stop start off. You've got your trip computer here on the end of your wiper stalk, which goes through the screen in the middle of the speedos. It tells you miles per gallon, your range, your travelling times, your travelling distance you've travelled. You've got your hands-free controls here with your scroller, so you can scroll through your radio or your phone contacts here. Volume and mute, speed and cruise control here. So cruise speed, cruise at the top, speed limit at the bottom. lights and wipers. Obviously it is a new 9-speed auto, but you do have power mode, and what power mode does is it goes through this screen here. So if I just show you the screen here, so if you look where it says P, and then I press the button, you'll see PWR, which is power. You've got eco and you've got normal. So it just depends what mode you want it in when driving. But like I said, as soon as you push your foot down on the accelerator, it'll drop a gear anyway and give you power for climbing hills or overtaking. You've got your traction control here, so if you wanted to turn it off you can, and you've got your hill descent control with it being an automatic. Hazards, this locks all the doors on a night, with it being a van conversion. It'll lock the sliding cargo door and the rear back doors, as well as the cab doors. And then you do have your heated mirrors, USB for charging and 12 volt for charging here only. And then you've got your glove box, and in your top box here you've got a USB here for streaming your music or connecting a USB. Coming down to the head unit, it is DAB, so once you've found your channels you can press 1 to 6 down the side and save. And then you've got your Bluetooth here, so if you wanted to pair your phone you can press Bluetooth and find a device. Yeah, so it says no device, connect, search, and you can search for your phone. Once you've found it, it'll ask you to pair, match the pins, just press pair, and then it'll ask you if you want to sync your contacts, just press yes. It means whoever rings you'll come up on the head unit, and then you'll know who exactly is ringing you. It's got Spotify, so should you plug your device in, so say your iPhone, you can have Spotify on there, or you can have FM just on there. So entirely up to you. And you have got the adjustment to go with CD. So once the CD is in, the CD here, which is dull at the minute and not letting us touch it because there's no CD in. Below you have your air conditioning, so you've got your temperature here, fan speed here, must be on at least 1 or more for the aircon to work, and you've got your distribution and your circulation. This customer has fitted a tracking system to the vehicle, so these are tracking cards, so these must be carried with whoever is driving the vehicle. So don't put them on the keys, as it looks like they're designed to go on the keys, but I wouldn't put them on the keys for the sole reason that if your keys are nicked, they've got your tracking card and it won't alert your tracking company. Whereas if they nicked your keys and didn't have one of these, it would alert the tracking system, which will alert you and tell them that your vehicle is on the move. But what I do with these, put one in your wallet or your purse and just carry one on you with when you're driving the vehicle, but don't connect them to the keys. But obviously if you had the van in a garage or had it in for habitation service or back at the dealership, you'd have to leave one of these with whoever, as they will be driving the vehicle. But you can set, with the tracking system, you can set a fence, like a geographical fence around the vehicle, which if it moves out of there, say if you were just moving it around the drive, you wouldn't have to have one of these, because if you set that fence just around your house, you'd be able to move it off the drive and park it on the street. But if you did go out of that side of that geographical fence, the tracking system would alert you.